I'm Jordan Belfort, and this is Sales School. It's really always important to know where you are in the sense of what does each step in the syntax accomplish? See, each step has its own unique purpose, but it also paves the way for the steps that come after it. That's the key. See, remember, there's a reason why the steps are in a certain order. So yeah, there's no doubt, listen, obviously, at a certain point in time, you have to gather intelligence, right? While you always want to be asking questions, at a certain point in time, yeah, intelligence gathering is going to be that key linchpin. That's what you're doing. You need to extract the information to find out if your buyer is qualified, if they want it, need it, they can afford it, right? Whatever you're selling, right? So there's that for sure, right? You have to know that information, right? But in addition to that, if you gather intelligence correctly, it also paves the way. It sets the stage. It lubricates for what comes after, meaning your presentation. You gather intelligence, which then allows you to not just build rapport, which lubricates what happens going forward, but also it gives you the information that you need to tailor your presentation, and especially your follow-up presentations, to directly suit your prospect's needs. You get it? So it's not just that the fact that, yeah, you have to, you need to gather intelligence, you got to ask questions. It's also that the reason it's at that point on the syntax is so it then makes things going forward much more logical and intuitive. The same way, when I talk about taking control of the sale, it's not step 4. Taking control of the sale is an absolute must. Why? Because control allows you to what? Make every sale the same. Which then paves the way for everything that comes after it. When you establish that first 10 on a logical level. So remember, your main presentation, right? That first language pattern that, when you say name of the company, name of the product, whatever it is you're selling, you explain your product, right? That obviously is focusing on what? The first 10 logically. That's what you're doing. You're creating you're framing your airtight logical case. But what it also does, it then frees the prospect up to be moved emotionally. There's a reason why we put this thing first, that thing second, that thing third. Everything in the straight line has its position on the line for a reason. That's what the syntax is all about. And a perfect example of this is like when someone breaks the syntax, is when someone will start trying to close while they're qualifying. They start asking qualifying questions, intelligence kind of questions, and then that prospect will elicit a pain point, reveal one. My product is perfect. And you start going off script and start closing. You start, tell them, don't worry, and you jump off syntax. You get it? So the reason everything is in its place on the line is because each item serves its own unique purpose, and it also paves the way for everything that comes after it. Step number 1, real quick, you take immediate control of the sale. And as part of that, you start building rapport, right? By sounding sharp, enthusiastic, you build rapport, right? But then the next step 2 is you start asking, you use that control, you've taken control, and then you use that control to gather intelligence, start asking questions. And then you want to ask those questions following all the rules of straight line prospecting and use your active listening to build massive rapport. And then when you're done with that and you've finished asking everything you know what you need to know, right? You then do your straight line transition. And from your transition, you then make your straight line presentation, which will always end with you creating urgency at the end and then asking for the order for the first time. You then want to deflect the first objection and then loop back and build certainty for all 3 tens through looping. Ask for the order a second time. You get hit with an objection, you're going to rebut that objection. You'll loop back again. Now you start building even higher levels of certainty for the first and second 10, but you'll also start future pacing for emotional certainty. And this time you'll lower the action threshold and if possible, step down the size of the order you asked for. Ask for the order again. You hit with another objection, you loop back again. You see, Guys, this is really easy. And what happens is, just remember, the visualization of the straight line, what you do first, what you do second, what you do third, where it actually belongs on the line, it's the order in which you go about creating certainty. Don't forget that. It's a straight line for a reason. Yeah, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. But the point is, in this context, a straight line represents the order in which you go about transferring the certainty that you have inside of you to your prospect. That's the bottom line. Remember your syntax. Follow the steps. And believe me, you'll be glad you did.